Hello, my friends, and welcome to week one of the This or That Make Along for 2024. This is the video for the Sandra PDA sweater. Let's go.
It's all or nothing. Ooh, but guess I need more of you. With us, it's all or nothing. But guess I need more of you.
Hi, everybody. I am so happy you are joining me here. If you don't know who I am, I'm Marley Bird, your Bike Crafty bestie. And in this video, we're going to get started with the Sandra PDA. I'm going to share with you a bonus worksheet that is available. I'll put the link in the video description below. And we're going to talk about what your homework is for week one of This or That. So let's go ahead and take a look right down here at my hands. Looking down here, you can see that this is a copy of the ad-free PDF that is available to you, but you do not have to have that. This is a free pattern on the website that you can follow along with. Now, hopefully you already caught the video for how to choose your right size and how to do your gauge swatch. If you didn't, I'll make sure that that link is in the video description box below. But at this point, you should have already decided what size you are making, and you've already created your gauge swatch. You're ready to get started with the pattern. I do want to remind you that on page four of the ad-free PDF is where you will find the Holy Knit pattern. And it's very important you know where this is, because this is the stitch pattern you will use throughout the entire piece. All right. So page 4, you can see here I put a post-it on it so that way I can just set it aside and know exactly where it is. As you keep going, I'm going to skip right over the schematic and I'm going to jump to where we actually have the written instructions. Okay, so here we are. I am on page 8 in mine. All right, so page 8, and it is here that we are going to continue on with the pattern, right? So these are the instructions for the front. We are going to cast on however many stitches you need to cast on for the size you are making. For me, I need to cast on 110. And then I will work in a 2x2 ribbing until my piece measures about 2 inches. That's not too difficult. We know how to do that. What type of cast on should you do? I prefer long tail cast on, but I will completely leave it up to you to choose what cast on you prefer. As you finish the ribbing, that's when you're going to transition to the Holy Knit pattern. Now, since you've done a gauge swatch, you already know what the Holy Knit pattern is, hopefully, and you can quickly remind yourself by looking right back here on page 4 for the Holy Knit pattern, and you'll be able to continue with that. Now, the Holy Knit pattern, you're only working it for a select number of rows. And because this is a cropped sweater, it might seem like you're not making this sweater very big because it's like, oh, it's only that many rows. But I'm telling you, based on the measurements that I've given you, that is the number of rows you should have to do to make the sweater fit like it fits on me. If you want to make yours a little bit longer, you absolutely could add more rows at this point before you start your sleeves. This is where you'd want to add them. Just remember, you end on the same row in the Holy Knit pattern as you're supposed to if you had not added any more rows. Does that make sense? So on this one, for me, I'm supposed to work the Holy Knit pattern for 22 rows total. And let's just, because I don't really know, let's say that was supposed to end, that puts me on an end on a row 4. I want to make sure that if I add extra rows, I'm still ending after a row 4 or whatever row it may be, okay? So it's very important you do that. The other thing that's very important is if you make a change to the length on this portion of the front, you want to make sure you make that change equally to this portion on the back, because these two portions will be seamed together, okay? So if you make any sort of changes, you want to make sure that you are putting that note in your patterns. That way you can also do it on the back, which leads me to the next bit of my advice for week 1. So we are definitely going to complete the front instructions all the way to this point for adding with the sleeves. You're going to complete all of this for week 1 for the front, but I also want you to do that for the back. Okay, so I'm going to just skip ahead here. and I'm going to get to page 11 in my instructions here. And I can see on page 11 that we're going to work the back, work the same as the front until the cast on for the sleeves is complete. The thing here is we're going to work the same as the front to the cast on for the sleeves is complete. So this set of instructions, this small little paragraph, is literally the same as all of this. So for your week 1, I want you to finish both of those parts. Now, does that mean you need an extra set of needles? Not necessarily. If you have an extra set of needles that you could work with so that you have 2 parts of the sweater going at the same time, great. But if you don't have an extra set of needles, it is not the end of the world. You can simply put your like stitch yarn or stitch saver yarn through the stitches on your needle and remove your needle and use them for the back. So that way you have the front on a holder and the back is on some needles and you're working those up. So that way you can work both at the same time. And what is the benefit of that is the stitch holder could double as a lifeline for you as you move forward. So you don't have to remove it later on when you put the needles back in. You could leave it there and it can act as a lifeline, which is really super duper helpful. All right. So far, just to recap, you're going to work on the ribbing and then work on the front part for the holy knit pattern up to where it says to add for the sleeves. Then you're going to put those stitches on a holder, or you're going to grab another pair of needles, same size, and then cast on for the ribbing and the same number of rows as you worked for the front so that your back is complete. So by the end of week 1, you're going to have the front and the back complete up to where it's time to add for those sleeves. It's really not that hard, and given that you know how to do the holy knit pattern with your gauge swatch, there's not a whole bunch that I have to show you. But I did tell you I have a bonus worksheet for you. So let's take a look at that. Okay. This is the blog post for the This or That Make Along for 2024. You can find this URL, that one right there, in the video description box right below. On here, you're going to find everything you want to know about the This or That Make Along. You already understand that. But as we scroll down here, for the Make Along schedule, you're going to see that there are links provided for you now. So I'm going to keep going. It's all the way down here. Make sure you go all the way down. And you're going to see here that week 1, August 30th, you have the knitting video. And I'm going to have that video. It's going to click here. That's where this video is going to be. Then it says row by row worksheet, which is a bonus. Both of these are included. One's for the front, one's for the back. I want to show you how these work so you understand. When we click copy from Google Sheets, I'm going to click that. It opens up a brand new page, and it's at this point that you have to make a copy for your own Google Sheets, okay? So I'm going to click on make a copy, and that is going to put it into your very own Google Drive. All right, so now it's opened up. It is a copy of the Holy Knit Checklist. So this is yours now. You could change this to be whatever you want it to be, but this is yours. However, it's very important you understand how this works. You need to make sure that you are following along with the size you are making. So if you look at the bottom of this sheet down here, you'll see that there are different tabs for each size. So all of these row by row instructions are written for each size. So this one here is the extra small. You can see here we're going to cast on 62. We're going to work ribbing all the way through row 12. Then we're going to work the holy knit pattern from rows 13 to 26, right? That's our week 1 instructions. But over here, it tells you what pattern row you will be on as you're working each one. So as you complete the row, you can come over here and you can click it. And you could say, my row is complete. My row is complete. My row is complete. So you always know what row you're on, and you know how far you've gone. Okay, same things apply when it comes to the back. So this is for the front. I'm going to come back over here, right here. I'm going to click where it says the back. Same thing. I'm going to make a copy. It's going to make a copy and put it into my drive. And so right here, it's a copy of the sweater. I'm putting it into my drive. Right down here, again, you select what size you're going to follow along with, and you can follow along with the instructions and check them off as you go. How cool is that? I mean, to me, that is worth the entire make along to be able to keep track of where you are as you go. Now, that does not mean you can forego doing any of the lifelines. You definitely want to keep adding those lifelines to your work so that you have a safe place to rip back to should you need to. But this will really make sure that your front and your back match up. The difference here, though, is if you make any changes, you want to make sure that you make note of it on your worksheets. That way you can make sure the front and the back match. Okay, so I have got myself some yarn here for me to cast on and get ready for my very own Sandra PDA Holy Knit sweater. I am excited to see yours. I will catch you over on week 2 with the front and the back complete. That's when we jump in and add on for some sleeves and things get a little bit tricky, but I can't wait to talk you through that whole process then. All right, everybody, that's it for me, your By Crafty bestie. Make sure you share with us on social media. Use hashtag MMMDI for Marley Made Me Do It, or Marley Bird, or this or that make along. See you later.